Hello, and welcome to the Legends of Valcia. I am Llama Chomp. I will be playing Harbeck Ironfest tonight. He is a mighty dwarven monk officer. Above me is Brig.
Hi, I'm Eversor. I'll be playing Brig, the crazy gnomish arcane trickster.
In the darkness up there, on the wrong side for the darkness, is Babs.
Hi, I'm Babs. I'll be playing Jin, the human ranger who was literally raised by wolves.
Over there is Nima.
Hi, I'm Nima. I'll be playing Gargantius, the happy-go-lucky human fighter.
Above him is Flick.
I'm Flick. I'll be playing Tabrin, the human caster of all 5 magics. Confusion.
And above him, surprisingly well lit, but still hiding under a hood, is Lolash.
Hi, I'm Lolash. I'm the DM. I'm responsible for terrifying and dangerous things that happen everywhere, always. Just like last week, which was a really interesting delve into a sort of different kind of D&D that you don't normally get to see. Harbeck, why don't you tell us about what happened last week?
I got put in charge of the recap, and I'm not doing it in character because my brain, right now, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's not ready to be Harbeck and to do a recap. So, the time before last time, we found the surprisingly civilized goblins city and finally met the person in charge of the surprisingly civilized goblin city, which was an illusion. Not the illusion was in charge. The city was an illusion. I have misplaced that modifier. I will find it. The person in charge thought it was quite a gas that we fell for his goblin city. Ha ha ha. Even though he waited like a month between the setup and the reveal, he just thought that was the best month ever, and he's so hilarious. And then told us, let's find out what you're afraid of, and we all fell asleep. Then we woke up in a dungeon full of everything we're afraid of. And everybody had a unique experience in that dungeon, tailored specifically to freak them out. And upon successfully exiting that place, we found a note and a scroll with a spell on it from Grebe, because I remember names occasionally. Grebe being this trickster fellow. And Grebe gave us a spell which Tabrin cast that teleported us pretty close to the place we were trying to go, which was quite convenient. So we've been on sort of a whirlwindy roller coaster recently, and we've just appeared in the middle of we don't know where we are, but Brig recognizes it and it scares him. And now we are all standing around there going, oh, this is new.
That pretty much is it in a nutshell. And so basically each of the party members experienced a personal hardship in the previous dungeon. There were some pretty tough elements, and each character sort of was handed different things that they had to deal with. And it was all very personal. Much of what went on in the dungeon was not shared publicly. There was some stuff that I did off camera with certain characters. There was some stuff that was done via whisper. And basically the entire party got shaken up a little bit. They find themselves now over here, the Crow Forest, near Terran. Now, Terran is the home of the arcane asylum run by the Elves of Thakon. It is where Brig was held for much of his adult life. It is also the location of a certain starlight singer that the party needs to free to be able to help the Felagor's mate escape in Iliander. So the party has just been teleported and landed in the forest. Brieg recognizes the lay of the land very specifically. He has been here before. He can see Terran in the distance, because you're up on sort of a ridge overlooking it right now. And it is an interesting place to be. But the party hasn't had a chance yet to talk about what has happened in that previous dungeon and what their plans are moving forward now that they're close to Terran. So I'm going to let you guys talk about what is going to happen next and what has happened.
If I remember the end of the previous episode, Harbeck, right before we cast the scroll, Tabrin asked us to place bets on where we'd be going, and Harbeck was very hopeful that we would be going across the ocean via magic rather than via wood on top of water, which is not his favorite. And then he was right and was gloating at the end of... He was asking Tabrin what he'd won, and Tabrin offered to give him back what we have named Wiggles now on accident.
Oh, Wiggles.
I think that was like the last where the conversation left off.
Because
Pretty much, yeah.
mummified chest cavity grubs are my favorite gift.
So Harbeck is going to take and have a sudden realization, and his jovial nature and laughing about Wiggles is going to vanish immediately from his face as he spins around. Brieg, are you okay?
Brieg takes a deep breath and then looks up at Harbeck with, like, frightening intensity and says, I'm going to kill them.
Right, that's not the reaction I expected. It's probably better than the reaction I expected, I think. But you seem composed and focused, and that's good. What did you see in the... Maybe that's not a thing I should ask. Never mind.
It was the one who tormented me while I was there. My goaler. I'm going to kill him. I am terrified, almost to the point that I can hardly breathe. But I'm done letting the fear rule me.
Right, so focus on killing. That's...
And I'm going to kill him.
Okay. Seems entirely better than panicking. Probably.
It's probably not the best emotion I've ever had, but it's not panicking, so I'm going to focus in on that, I think.
Right.
Speaking of focusing, where would we go in first? The way you escaped from?
As
I think that would be a bit tight for you.
Right. I'm not.
right, Brieg's just a wee creature. I don't know if you've noticed.
Well, I don't want to say, go in and open the door for us, because that might be a suicide mission. Where would we? We don't go through the front.
No, absolutely not.
We go through fronts all the time.
Is there a supporting settlement around this jail? Or is the entire thing the jail?
No, the asylum is it's a prominent feature of Terran, but Terran is a city. It's a settlement. It's not just the asylum. Let me show you what I remember. And Brieg grabs a stick and starts drawing in the dirt. Draws an incredibly intricate and detailed map of the city of Terran in the dirt.
Wow, it's like I'm already there.
Like with colors and trees and things, apparently. No, but it's
That's amazing.
But,
is that
this
part
is
of
a-
your
Yeah.
trickster training?
so after I like draw the skeleton of the town in the dirt, I cast a minor illusion spell and make it look like a pretty map. Fill out the rest of the details with a little illusion.
Harbeck picks up his stick and pokes the dirt for a minute. Well, that's a skill I'll need to learn.
Magic stick.
Din, did you see the stick?
Don't do it, Brieg.
Did you see what you did with the stick?
Okay, so this is Terran. It's a small elven town. You'll see number 11 in the center there. That's the asylum. It's only accessible. It sits in a lake, and is only accessible across a single little land bridge. There's a little dock as well for bringing things in via the river. This is not the scale. It's much bigger, obviously. Boats can travel up and down that river. It looks very narrow because of perspective, like we're very high up, but it's actually quite a large town. Prominent features, 6 is an inn, 11 is the asylum itself, 14 is a barracks and guardhouse, 16 is the home of the person that Brieg wants to kill. There are various shops and things sort of designated by 1, 2, 3, 7, and 10. Brieg doesn't know what's sold in them, he just knows that people buy things there. And of course there is the lake itself.
So,
Do you think
One of the
they'd let us
reasons
stay
we-
at the inn? Do they get many dwarven and gnomish and human visitors in Terran?
Non-elves are somewhat rare in Thacon, but we're not really near any of the borders. They would probably assume that we belong. It's a dangerous place for me to be seen, though, and I think that they will be paying close enough attention that relying on illusions to mask my identity would be dangerous at best.
Do you remember once when you lived in a barrel for a while?
As a completely drunk halfling, if I recall correctly.
Right, that might be a thing we do again.
It's possible, but we can take rooms at the inn. It's risky.
What if we camped here? Oh, bad color. Here, and then at night snuck in. Is that wall climbable?
Well, every wall's climbable if you have the right equipment and elbow grease, right?
Right.
Terran is, I mean, all of Thacon is fairly militaristic, and Terran is no different. However, it's designed more to keep the bulk of its protection is focused on keeping the people in the asylum. I don't think that sneaking into the town will be incredibly difficult. I mean,
Okay.
it's probably something we can do, but again, these are the elves of Thacon. There's no slouches.
is it just me, or weren't we supposed to... Didn't we feel like the impression was that John was going to be at the other end of this teleportation, and we just happened to be close to where our other objective is? Do we want to find the Maker, look for him now, or...
Did we have much of a lead other than here's a scroll to take you to meet John?
Not really. Did the note even say that? I don't. I'm not sure if my memory serves. I guess we can pull it out and look. But I'm not sure if I was just hoping that it would take us to meet the Maker, or if it actually said that.
It said, say hello to John for me, and then on the back was
the
spell.
Do we know that John is the Maker? Or maybe John is the Shadow's friend that we're supposed to rescue? Or...
Does that mean
No,
John
Shadow's
is inmate?
brother that we're going to rescue was named Tresson. No, that's where we went. No, that's his name. Tresson.
Tresson is his name, that's correct.
Maybe I could be wrong, but I hate to put aside learning how to save the world to go and kill an old friend.
Maybe the tyrant captured the Maker, and that's where this is where he's being held.
It's as reasonable as any.
You did mention that this is where people go when they're annoying the king and he can't deal with them. He probably can't deal with the Maker, so he imprisoned him here, maybe?
Do you think this place could hold him? The legends I've heard would lead me to believe that it cannot.
It seems equally possible to me that the Maker doesn't pay much mind to where he is, as long as he can continue making. He might be there just because he doesn't care to leave.
Break free.
Right, and at the end
I don't know,
of the day, if our choices are between wander around blindly hoping we bump into John and wander in the direction of another goal we have anyway, it seems we might as well go to Terran.
Right. And I mean, we're clearly on a rise overlooking Terran here. This is where we were put and where we were pointed. It seems most likely that is the direction that Grieve intended us to go.
And I'll tell you, going in the direction that Grieve intended us to go can only be a good idea. That man seems to be full of good ideas only. That will end well for
Nothing
everyone.
Grieve has done has turned out to be terrible or traumatic in any way, so we should likely do exactly what he intended for us.
I just hope that this is not another dream.
It's interesting to see the party second guessing themselves. It's amusing. Brieg, a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned to you that you may not want to tell the party how you escaped from the asylum. You can, if you choose to, tell the party, but remember, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, I think
Although I haven't actually told you what it is, but...
yeah, other than the fact that I don't know, I think that my vague hints are enough, just kind of suggesting that it's not a great way for us to get back in. I feel like it's probably sufficient.
Okay.
I mean, if
You totally climbed into an outhouse, didn't you? Right down into the hole, dug your way out through the sewer system. I'm picturing that scene from Raising Arizona where he comes up through the mud.
Or even worse, like, how would you kill your way into an asylum? That's ridiculous. We can't leave a trail of corpses into the asylum. That would never work.
They'll definitely know something's up.
What a preposterous suggestion.
So, what is the plan? We've talked about what isn't the plan.
well, let me
Usually
tell you
our
what
plan
I
is
know
knock
of.
on the front door and then stab all the things.
I don't think that's gonna work in this situation. Then
I think that in this particular situation, that would be a singularly bad plan.
Right, so I am clearly not right in the head. So Tabarin disguises himself as an elvish psychologist and takes to check me in. And
I would also
how do we get the other
I would
three?
also suggest that getting ourselves admitted to the asylum is also a singularly bad idea.
We need to bust one prisoner out. Why not just bust out 3 or 4?
If we are prisoners ourselves, I suspect that none of us will be leaving, perhaps ever. So let's not
Oh, right,
do
you all
that.
need equipment to fight effectively.
right.
Right, I've forgotten that. Okay.
I don't. I suspect that if they admit you as a patient, you will not have much fight left in you for long.
I have an
not
idea.
a pleasant place.
The plan wasn't to be there for
I have an idea, and it might even be a good idea.
I'm all ears.
What if we create a distraction outside of the front door big enough that everybody inside has to come out and fix the distraction, and then we run in the back door? Is there a back door? This plan relies heavily on there being a back door.
Right, Dan, look at the
Looks
map.
like there's 2 front doors.
You could wait at the dock,
There are
perhaps.
there are basically 3 entrances, right? There's the front door, the bridge, and the dock are all.
For
Ways to get
example,
into the
what if
asylum.
we check into the inn and then accidentally set it on fire? Because usually that's what we do to inns anyway. And then they would have to come
I don't.
and help with the fire.
I don't know that the asylum guards would be also on fire duty.
If it's a big enough fire, then everybody's on fire duty.
Could we simulate an attack on the city? Your bow's really loud. That might be a good start.
It is. Oh, and you know what else? Wait, I have a very important question about my bow. Does the thunder happen upon the firing of the bow, or does every projectile coming from the bow create thunder? Because I might
happens
totally be able to do this.
I believe it happens when the projectile from the bow hits something, is when the boom happens. Because it does
I
damage
can make
to the
so
target,
many
right?
booms, you guys.
Breed, do you know if there's what's below? Like, what I mean is there an underwater entrance? Because we have a water ring that could, part the, get us in there.
Tabarin this whole time just doesn't really have much to say, but you can tell he's obviously troubled. And he just speaks up. He says, "We need a plan as much as possible that's not going to involve fighting."
I can make it so loud that everyone will come running. Because I can cast Hail of Thorns 3 times.
Right, then what?
Then a rain of thorns sprouts from my ranged weapon. And then there are so many booms. Please let me do this. Please let me just shoot my bow at the front door.
I
3
hate
times.
to poop on your parade, Din, but the Rain of Thorns is not an actual physical projectile being fired from the weapon, and it wouldn't take on the properties of the weapon, unfortunately.
Okay, what about... Oh. Wait, yes it is. Isn't it?
You know what's really loud, though?
I think one of them does weapon damage, but it's a spell, so you don't get all the...
You know what would be really disconcerting, though?
What?
Rhythmic thunderclaps spaced 6 seconds apart, unceasingly, continuously, like even without Rain of Thorns to make lots and lots of thunder, just like a loud thunderclap, and then another,
Out of the clear blue sky,
and then another,
every 6 seconds.
and then another, right?
So...
I could do that. I made lots of arrows.
That requires Din to stay outside and keep them occupied, though. What if we need Din if danger happens?
I can shoot really far.
What if we build
But not
a
from
thing,
inside.
and we put the bow in the thing, and the thing shoots the bow to make the noise? We make a bunch of fires and
What
tents,
kind of a thing?
like an army's camped here. And then we make the bow shoot to make the noise. Like a machine. We
What's
could make a
gonna
machine.
reload it?
It's not that hard. I mean, look at
What's
this.
the
Okay.
machine?
Hardback holds up his little spider. If we could make a spider like this,
that-
I'm sure we could figure out a bow shooting machine.
Did we make a spider like that?
Okay.
Well, I didn't make a spider like this, but I'm sure we could figure out how to. I mean, this exists, right? That's the point.
That
Arvin.
spider is not going to be able to shoot this bow. Look how giant this bow is. It's as tall as
Speaking
me.
of
We'll get Briggs magic
speaking of
rope to shoot the bow.
artificer solutions, is there
The
a brew
magic
that
rope can
makes
shoot
us
the bow.
invisible?
Invisible? Not yet.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would even.
Could we?
Hardback starts jotting notes in his
Is
in
there
his
such a
book.
thing as a ketchup pop? Not yet.
So, I don't want to put this forward as a suggestion, but rather as additional information to add to the planning. My second exit from the asylum involved an escape through a narrow sewer. It was singularly unpleasant and involved a marathon swim through a lake of human excrement and remains.
Right, Brig, I'd like you to turn and look at me, and then I'd like you to think of the word narrow.
Right.
Okay, good.
Which is one of the reasons that I'm not suggesting it as an option. I'm just trying to give you all of the information I have. I can probably also do like a decent sketch of what the inside of the asylum looks like. Is that true?
You can, and
I have another idea. Wait, Bree can't shoot my bow. I don't think he's strong enough.
I will provide you with that once I finish
Probably
light
also
mapping
doesn't want to
it.
swim
Remember
through
how I
poop
said I
again.
wasn't prepared?
Sewers. Sewers are full of gases that might be flammable. What if we blow the place up? We light the sewer on fire and everything explodes.
We're supposed to rescue someone from inside it.
Right, we'll go get him out
Are
of
we
the rubble and the
anarchists?
flames. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's related to Shadow. You
I
can't
don't
kill
want
him
to
with a
destroy
fireball.
a city. I mean, if possible, I would like to just get in and out without destroying a city, with innocents inside.
But where does the sewer let out? What if there was just really loud booming coming from the basement? Then they would go investigate. They might not come outside to investigate, but they would probably go farther inside. What if we can just lure them all into a place?
Is there ever a reason that someone is taken away from the asylum? Either under
Or I could try
custody,
to shoot
transport to
into
the main
windows.
city?
Not that you're familiar with Brig.
As far as I know, anyone that's admitted to this asylum stays there until they become fodder for that sewage lake that I mentioned earlier.
Do we have any way to locate Tesserin? What's his name?
Tresson.
Tresson. Do we have any way to
Tresson.
locate him?
No?
Like a
Other
scrying
than-
spell? Or...
Do that talk in his brain thing.
Pretty much magic
I can
is the
try.
only thing I can think of. Because
I can try, I mean...
if we know exactly
little
where we need to
description.
go once we're inside, and exactly how we're going to get back out, that is a hugely different plan than we need enough time to search the entire asylum.
That's why I like the invisible potion plan, if we can get invisible potions. Beers, not potions.
Right? I mean,
Beers.
maybe all we do is we take one wall off the asylum right by Tresson's cell, and we all skedaddle out of town as quickly as our little feet can move our little butts.
I mean, as far as an escape goes, I could cast an arcane portal once we get him, as long as I can see outside of the asylum, and give us a 500-yard head start.
How does portal
500
work?
feet.
Can you... But, I mean,
500
can you
feet.
portal into...
Anything
Or
I
can
could
you just
see.
cast the portal in his cell and he
Oh.
can come out?
There's
Yeah, that was my cheat.
not an overabundance of windows in the asylum.
Well, we can make
We can-
windows.
Right.
Oh,
That's just a place where there's not a
Certainly
wall
not.
anymore.
Certainly
Right.
not in the prisoners' patients' cells.
Right, okay.
can we fake imprisonment, as in make handcuffs that are easily detachable, and
I'm sure.
the plan we had before, disguising Tabarin as a psychologist, or
I'm sure
but
the
then we
intake-
also
I'm sure the intake procedure
It-
will replace whatever handcuffs we've brought ourselves up.
Yeah, so
Why
what,
not-
what information do I have about
Why
the
not go
intake procedure?
to the jailer's house first, take care of him, get stuff that we can then disguise myself as the jailer, buy us a little bit of time to hopefully see what information he has at his home on who's in the asylum, where they're at, or give the scrying a chance once we're there, and then going in and getting him as the lead jailer. Like, why? I don't think the asylum should be the first target. If we're gonna get in and cause havoc, take out priority number one, to hopefully give us some leverage without causing attention from the barracks and everyone else. And we know these elves are militaristic. As soon as we start attracting attention, we better be on our way out, not on our way in.
If you're going to impersonate him, we would want to observe his routine, his schedule, so that we would know how long we'd have to search his house before you need to show up for work in the morning.
Right.
And that would give me time to work on some toys. I just think that we might need to blow a giant hole in a wall. And I haven't ever invented anything that could blow a giant hole in a wall. And I'm starting to think that would be very useful and perhaps very fun.
Yes, setting off explosives underground. I'm going to transfer you to a map, or rather, I'm going to just move the entire camera to a map where your characters are not going to be on it, and hopefully I have set it up so that you can see the elements I want you to see and not the elements that you're not supposed to see. There should be areas that are dark that you can't see.
100% of the areas are dark.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's all of it for me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I have enforced line of sight. Let me turn that off. Hang on. If I click this button,
Now I can see everything.
There you
I
go.
close
Okay.
my eyes.
that's right. You shouldn't be
am
able
I
to see
not
everything.
supposed to see all of this?
Okay.
So there are a couple of spots that are blocked out.
That's fine.
I mean, yeah.
Okay,
we
that's
can
all.
see-
This is what you remember, Brig. You've been busy sketching in the ground, the underground portion of the asylum. This is the underground portion of the asylum. You asked if you could display it. This is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11, 14, 10, 13, 9, and 12, 17, 18, 19, and 20, all cells, all containing prisoners. You are particularly familiar with 5. 5 is where you used to be kept. 16 is a room with this weird arcane portal-y thing above it, and they used to take you in there, and it used to do terrible things to you, and you really, really, really don't like that room. 23 is where the guards are typically stationed. You don't know how people get in here from above. You never found the way up. But you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little sort of break in the wall and a very gooey, icky-looking fluid bit outside of it. That's how you got out.
It was unpleasant.
It was very, 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 very unpleasant.
Yeah. Like, permanently scarring. Kind of unpleasant.
Yeah.
It
Like,
certainly
But not the
looks
kind
like
of story you can
9.
show off and tell a great story about.
Correct.
It looks like 9 through 14 is more maximum security. Double doors going in on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it's probably where our target is kept, down that corridor.
Right.
So I think that your instincts may be right. We may want to start with the jailer. I think that making sure we have his daily routine at least somewhat down before we go is a good idea.
Do you
we'll
think
have
you'll
to
be able to not kill him that long?
I've
Maybe
not
we
killed
can
him
not kill
for-
him and ask him questions.
Right, you've not killed him for a long time, but you also
I've
haven't
managed to
been
not
in
kill
his
him.
house watching him.
I don't think we're going to be in his house watching him. I think we're going to be hidden as far from his house as we can while still able to see the front door. Really, we just need to know what time, the times he comes and goes, right?
I don't know how
Right.
much it takes to impersonate a person, but that seems like a place to start.
I'm not 100% convinced about impersonating him, but at least
Yeah,
not to any.
it's definitely a risk, and
But it's a place to start.
it still
I
doesn't
think.
get everyone else in the door with me.
Right, but it's a place to start. It accomplishes at least one of my goals, and it gives us potentially a place to stay in the city for a bit while we.
I'm wondering if more or less being disguised as the jailer just doesn't give us the upper hand initially to get into the asylum. If we can get into the asylum and do it relatively quickly, maybe we can do so without attracting additional attention, which will then give us time to work our way through portions.
So, Lolash parentheses GM.
Yes.
What do I know about intake procedures?
So, when you were first brought, this is fairly foggy for you. When you were first brought to Terran a long time ago, when you were but a wee lad with a broken mind, you were first brought into the Elven City, and it was very intimidating, and you were very scared because you're always very scared. But it wasn't an unpleasant place. You were marched across the front door, or marched in the front door, on the sort of sticky outy bit of the house there that you can see, and there were some friendly faced elves, and they were all very kind, and there were paperwork filled out and gold coins exchanged, and you met an elf who told you he was going to help you get better, and you were feeling very pleased about the whole thing. And then your family, who brought you here in the first place because you were a bit weird, they
Just a little bit.
left, and things took a turn for the worse. After your family had left, you were led down a hallway and taken through a door that led down to a staircase, and you had a bag put on your head, and the next thing you know, you woke up in a cell, and it was dark and dingy and unpleasant. And
For years and years and years and years and years.
yes, yeah, that's basically how it worked.
Okay, so here's another idea. Something we could at least take a look at. So if we're going to get into the city and set up to observe the things that we can observe, we could also watch how frequently the asylum is supplied via the river. We may be able to head up river and somehow stow ourselves aboard one of those supply ships and get loaded in via the dock.
What if we stow ourselves as
they could
the
just-
supply ship? We remove
You may
the
have
crew,
noticed, but
and we become the crew.
you may have noticed that none of us are elves.
You're elf-shaped. You're an elf sometimes. She's basically an elf. She just needs some pointy ears. You guys could pass. And well, okay. We need to sneak me in. But to think the three of you could, with appropriate adjustments, pass as elves. Probably. Maybe?
Maybe there's.
I don't know, you told people all look the same.
I'm not that
So racist.
tall. But
Also, you are taller
I'm-
than me. Just thought I'd point that out.
I may
But
be
not you.
skinny enough.
It's a thought, another avenue to look at.
I think
So-
Babs is asleep.
No.
No, I'm not. I'm not asleep. Leave me alone.
So, That is something that we could at least investigate. I mean, I think that whatever it is that we decide to do, the operation is going to be on a scale of probably days to weeks, not a few hours. Well,
Right.
This is going to take some forethought, some observation, some planning.
Before we get too far, can just have one question for you, Brig, to put my mind at rest. You've never seen a large chamber with a green pillar? That's not here.
With a green pillar. Not all of my memories of the asylum are as crystal clear as I would like to have them, but that is not something that sounds familiar. I don't believe that I've ever seen anything like that.
I wish that sounded more convincing.
Yes, so do I.
Harvick is making I mean, you don't only make beers, do you? Like, are you able to make other chemical things?
I dabble in alchemy. Indeed.
I figure we might need something that knocks people out. OOC chloroform. Maybe something like that to maybe knock guards out with.
Isn't that what stabby things are for?
Well, I mean, without making a mess.
Right.
I have a very efficient way to deal with elven guards.
We could definitely work out some kind of night bomb. I've got this idea of bombs in my head recently. I want to make things that explode. And maybe if it exploded and the explosion was just to disperse some sleeping gas, that could be incredibly useful.
Is Harbeck having one of his flashes of inspiration? Is he about to go sit under a tree?
He might do, especially if we have like a couple of weeks, because, you know, like maybe Tabarin and Gergintius go spy on the jailer, and Brig and Babs go spy on the boats that are supplying the asylum, and Harbeck just like builds a makeshift workshop in the
Just
forest and
alchemizes.
invents things for 2 weeks. That could be a thing.
Gergintius, I hope that this doesn't just make me sound like a bloodthirsty bastard, but I don't plan on leaving any of them alive. I'm not
Okay.
overly concerned about being careful with the innocent guards that tortured me for my entire life.
So, Brig, you would like me to invent many bombs.
Putting them to sleep before I kill them is fine.
No. Not sleep bombs.
They're much easier to kill when they're asleep.
We could make fire bombs, and we could make blood bombs. Not that the blood comes from the bombs,
Wait.
just the bombs make blood.
I'm all.
Wait, they're easy to kill when they're asleep.
Okay, we can
I'm
make
all
sleep
for this
bombs.
killing stuff.
That seems...
What if we
But-
make a gas bomb that puts them all to sleep?
What if we gas the whole
We
town?
do realize that this isn't the goal, right? We don't want to cause like
No, but we put them all to
unnecessary.
sleep, and then we sneak in, and we take the keys, and we get the guy that we came for, and he's probably asleep too, because we make everybody asleep, and then everybody keeps making us asleep. Let's make them asleep this time.
My
What do they
point
drink?
is, we're not getting out of this.
Do they drink from the river?
They do draw their fresh water from the river.
What if we make the entire river into like a knockout potion, and then the whole town's asleep, and we walk in and we get our friend, and Brig maybe kills a few people, and then we'll leave. We probably don't watch Brig kill the people, so we don't have to know that it happened, because that might make us have some
And they'll
moral
be
quandaries.
so easy to kill, because do you remember how asleep I was? I was real asleep.
Right, yeah. So
Okay.
the whole town goes to sleep. The innocent people wake up and they're like, oh, what day is it? I must have had something funny to eat for dinner. And then a few of the people don't wake up because Brig said hello to them. And then we're done. That's it. Super easy.
That's a great idea. See, the
Right, now how do we
best part of that is people are not chasing us
How do we make
while we
enough
have our next mission.
sleeping potion
Right, so
to contaminate an entire
if that's
river?
right.
And why is
so
that
if
not a bomb?
If that's a thing, if that's a thing that you can actually accomplish, it's a fantastic plan. I'm having troubles with the actually accomplish part of this plan.
Right,
It's
Yeah,
not
that
a
might
small river.
require a lot of material.
let me do some quick
A
calculations.
lot.
Harbeck gets out some paper, calculates like an estimated flow rate for a river, and then minimum required dosage of his current sleeping brews to put people to sleep, and then ratios.
While you math, maybe we should take a break for the tubes.
Okay,
We should. That is a thing we should do.
based on some rough back of the palm calculations, it looks like we need 400,000 gallons of sleeping brew.
Oh,
That sounds about in the right order of magnitude.
ballpark.
Right, so
And even then, we have to hope that everybody takes a drink in that 15-minute window, right?
I was asleep for 2 days.
But we need everyone to take a drink from the river during the time that the sleeping potion is floating through town.
yeah, I don't think that plan's very.
I have an idea, but it requires impossible things. Remember how
That's like the idea I had.
Yeah, but you know how the people who have Octros, they can do the freeze everybody thing? Maybe you guys can learn to do that. That sounds like
we have
don't
to
have
save the
hundreds
guy
of
who can
years.
teach us to do that before we can do
Yeah.
that. Your idea is brilliant if we can figure out how to make time work backwards.
And while we wait for time to move backwards and for people to work out what they're going to do to gain access to the arcane asylum in Terran, we're going to take a short break. If you're watching us on YouTube, the next episode will be up when Lama gets it up. I don't know when he will, but when he does, everybody will be happy. And if you're watching on Twitch, we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Take care, everybody. We'll see you shortly.
Bye.